Buongiorno tutti, it's Jason Simmons, the Cockney cook, and today I'm doing an absolute blinder. Have a sip of my tea first. It's been a tough morning. Keep watching to see how I do my Bonkers Bolognese. Okay guys, well let's get straight on with it. The hat's on, the hat's off, it's cooking time. Right, I'm going to run through my ingredients, but let's have a little chat first, shall we? Right, if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video and please subscribe to my channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please like the video and don't be a schnorrer. Share it, you know, it makes sense. Now, I want to talk about a bolognese sauce, because a lot of people say that bolognese sauce is not Italian and it was invented in England. It's a lie, I tell you. It's just that the difference is, in Italy it's called a ragu, not a Mr. Magoo, a ragu, a ragu, and it's normally used in things like lasagna, it's used for stuffing cannelloni, you can make pancakes and make crispellini. There's lots of different things, but the difference is in England we eat it with spaghetti, so spaghetti bolognese is classically Italian, but the sauce I'm going to show you today is a classic Italiano sauce, so to anyone who says it isn't, let's go through our ingredients. We will need 1 onion, 1 average size carrot, 1 stick of celerino. I'm using passata, there's 700 grams in there. You could use 400 gram tins of tomato. I confused myself then, what am I talking about? I'll start that again. I'm using 700 grams of passata. You could use 2 tins of tomatoes, or because it's quite chunky, I quite like the fact that you got the smoothness of passata and it's very tomatoey. You will need 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, 500 grams of minced beef. You could use 250 grams of minced beef and 250 grams of minced pork. You could use 250 grams of minced veal and 250 grams of minced pork, but I am using 500 grams of minced beef. You will need 1 glass of wine. There's about 125 mils in that glass, but you can use it. The glass of wine, by the way, is optional. If you're cooking with children and you don't want to put it in, you leave it out, but we'll go through that later. 2 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, salt and freshly ground black pepper. So, without any further ado, let me just finally, and I mean finally, because we don't want a big massive bitty vegetable-y bolognese. What we want, these are our background players and they're going to give us flavour, okay? So we're going to chop them finely, just like this. It's as simple as that. If only it was. Right, now the next thing we need to do, I've left my garlic whole because I'm going to soften my vegetables first and the garlic will go in afterwards. Okay, you may have noticed today, check it out, I'm wearing a new jacket. I've gone up in the world, I've gone into my black jacket, which is Michelin starred, so I'm Michelin starred in my own garden. Okay, now it's time to get my cooking equipment. The equipment we're going to need today is we're going to need the hob on the stove. We're going to need a nice heavy pot, preferably with a lid. We're going to need a measuring spoons. We've used our knife obviously for chopping. One other thing, flick a spoon. You always need a flicky spoon. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to pop that over there. Okay, first thing we're going to need to do is turn our gas on and keep it low. Okay. Next thing, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We don't need extra virgin for this, but we do need olive oil. Okay. So no fry, crisp and dry. You need a bit of olio de olive. Okay, so that goes in. Pop that to one side. Make sure it's nice and low, because at this moment we don't want to colour our vegetables. We want to soften our vegetables. Okay, so let's pop them all in there. And these are going to cook down for roughly 8 to 10 minutes. Alright, none of that quick frying. Alright, just mix them all round, coat them in olive oil. Alright, treat them with love. And we're going to slowly cook them. Just while I'm doing that, and I've got a minute, let me give a shout out to the little bagel box out in Fitch Green. I had a wonderful start, and all you guys out in Essex that are watching, support them, get down there. New fledgling business, and in these tough times everyone needs as much support, and community is what it's all about. Okay, because we're going through some tough times out there where our communities seem to be kind of having a little bit of rough time with one another. So let's love one another and let's support one another. Get down there, spread the love. We've been cooking this now for 10 minutes. I thought I just want to take it nice and slow. As you can see, I've put the lid on. Now the lid creates a little bit of steam, as you will see as I lift it off. Ta-da! And the steam helps with softening and also stops it colouring. Okay, so you cook it nice and low with the lid on. Check it every few minutes, make sure that it's all okay. Let me just pop this here a second. Lovely. Right, next thing, let's pop our garlic in there. Okay, and we're just going to give our garlic a minute. Our garlic's had a minute. Next thing we want to do is put our tomato puree in. Now quite often what people tend to do is put their tomatoes in, put everything in and throw the puree in then, and that is exactly what you don't want to do while you're watching the video, because the puree needs to cook off. Okay, it can give us a bitter sort of taste. I mean, you wouldn't even know what that was. You wouldn't even realise it was the puree, but it's the puree that does that. It's very important that when we add our puree, and it's just a tablespoon, that we cook it off for about anything between 3 and 5 minutes. Tomato puree's been cooking for 5 minutes. Trust me, you want to get the best out of your tomato puree and make the sauce taste different class. Okay, take the time to do that. Next thing in, put our meat in there. Okay, so our meat needs a bit of breaking up, and we're just going to seal the meat off. That's going to take about 3 minutes. Our meat's been cooking for 5 minutes, and at this point it's all coloured. It's not cooked through, but it's coloured. And we're going to add a glass of red wine. Lovely. Okay, at this point, mix all the wine in. Okay. They're all becoming best mates. They all get to know one another. They've been introduced. I'm going to turn it up a fraction, because at this point I want my wine to reduce down. I want it as a background flavour. I don't want... That's it. I want it as a background flavour. I want all the alcohol to cook off. That's why you can use wine in it if you're cooking with children, because the wine will go. It's just for flavouring. The alcohol, I mean, will go in the wine. It's just for flavouring. But if you prefer not to, just don't put it in, okay? And right, that's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes to reduce down. That's bubbling away and reducing down nicely. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pour my passata in. Lovely. And I'm going to get a little bit of water, okay, and just rinse that round. Now let me give this a little stir through. Turn my heat back down. Oh god, that looks so good. Am I cooking so good? Just so you can see, there's 125 mils of water. I'm going to pour that in there. Obviously I'll probably do it over the sink so I get some of it in the bottom. Right, give it a nice shake up so you get all those last bits of the passata. That goes in, that loosens it off. Give it a nice stir about. At this point, give it a nice big pinch of salt. Alright, that's it. This is Malden sea salt, so just so you know, nice big pinch of black pepper, and we're done. Now, at this point, time in the kitchen is your best friend, okay, because it does things to food that you just cannot imagine. And I'm going to cook this for between an hour and an hour and a half. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm not even going to check it for an hour, put it on the lowest setting. After an hour, I'm just going to check it to make sure it's not getting too dry. Give it a little stir about. If it does look like it's getting a bit dry, loosen it with a bit of water, but it shouldn't do. Should be absolutely fine at this point. And at the end, we'll just recheck it for seasoning, but that is it. Okay guys, the moment of truth. An hour and a half has passed and it's been blipping away. I checked it after about an hour and gave it a little stir and it looked fab. So let's have a little. So the great thing with this is that, oh gosh, the great thing with this, that is beautiful. That sauce is cooked down perfectly. This is definitely one that needs to become best meats. So, whenever I cook a bolognese sauce, I try not to use it on that day. If I can cook it the day before, put it in the fridge, bosh, all those flavours become best mates. You have got a different beast on your hands the very next day, trust me. You can use this sauce with rigatoni, penne, tagliatelle, pappardelle, spaghetti, linguine. You can use the sauce in lasagna. You could, if you wanted to, add a bit of chilli, add some red kidney beans and turn that into a chili con carne. So there are lots and lots of different things. You can stuff cannelloni and you've got a nice meat cannelloni. So there are many things that you can do with that sauce. You saw it's not complicated. Don't throw 10,000 things in there. Don't overcomplicate it. Tomato sauce, Worcester sauce, you know, all sorts of things. You do not need them. You need a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and all those flavours intermingle, and then you've got the real deal on your hands. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget, like it. Don't be a schnorrer. Share it. If you're watching on YouTube, okay, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, get over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. What's wrong with you? Andiamo tutti. I'll see you again.